Ladies and gentlemen, the Plan International State of the World Girls Report has launched the annual research with rich data of girls and young women being victims of online harassment. And over 14,000 of them have been interviewed, and the result was unpredictable since 58% of them have reported that they have suffered several types of online harassment. That was the news that I have heard 2 years ago. The young age me would be curious about the term girls get online abuse. And I laughed a lot and imagined such ridiculous thing like getting online, getting hit online, or getting isolated online can't happen. However, reality came earlier than I thought. And awaked the 16-year-old me that the problem is actually happened and getting even worsened by days. It is undeniable that the internet is whipped and prevalent. However, going along with it, online harassment still happened. And I am Trần Đoàn Diệu Linh from class 10C1. Today, I'm making this speech as a role of a girl, of an online user, and of a potential leader of a digital community. The internet is a double-edged sword which have both positive and negative effects on our life. We use and we utilize all the convenient functions of it, and including the girls. We thought that the internet can be the right and humane place for us to use. However, online harassment still happens. So how detrimental is it? Today, I will show you how detrimental is it. So let's start with the definition. From my perspective, when a person takes advantage of another person's personal information, image, and just to eventually use them as playthings and manipulate them to follow them blindly is called online harassment. An alarming sign here is shaped in many facets: verbal abuse, picture abuse, sexism, racism, etc. And you know, our main topic today is about sexism. So, the principal cause of online harassment is from online criminals. They first testing, phoning, and FaceTiming the victims, and then gain the victims in private information and picture, and eventually reach their peak as soon as the victim is pulled in the slim jab and manipulates them. So several intents of them are human trafficking and sexual abuse. I bet that all of us have heard about the case about the nth case room in South Korea. Well, the criminal first approached the prey by testing them under a reputation as a reliance company and telling them that they are enrolling female staff, and after the bilateral trade, they make their victims to give them the private information, to send them facial pics and gradually body pics, and subsequently they constrain the victim to implement sensitive activities. And what if the victim do not want to do that? They threat the victim that I will roll out your video. So I will roll out your video. This aims to transmitting in recluse chatting room and also to getting profit by receiving money from the room's members. You can see that even though the awareness of the victims has arisen, they still stuck in problems unconsciously. Have you ever think that your body is not yours anymore, like what the victim have experienced? Have you ever experienced the feeling of completely powerless because that abusement comes with physical harms, even though you have dropped many tears and there's still no method to light up your mind? And in this case, the most unfortunate and worrying thought will come up to the victim's mind, which is the death. And as for the online harassment victim, there will be another fear that come up with them, is that being shamed about their bodies, the fright of being offended by the dignities of criminals and also the netizens. So I really wonder the fact that after hearing a story of a girl stuck in such underprivileged situation like this, what is the very first thing that come up to your mind? If you think that, oh, that girl is such a disadvantaged girl, or I will give her a hand, well, I will be truly delightful and pleased for that. However, the situation is published on the national broadcaster, and not everyone can look on the bright side of the story. So there will be a group of society that acts negatively, like there would be no smoke without fire, or that girl must have done something, so now she's just receiving karma. That is called victim blaming, which was defined by Ryan and William in blaming the victim is as justifying inequality by finding defects in the victims of the inequality. Well, remember what I have said before about the Antrim case. The outsider blamed the victim for clicked on the strange links foolishly or accused them just because they didn't call the police immediately. So that is victim blaming. They are blaming the genuine victim, blaming the one who has already experienced the physical and the mental pain. So I added this information about victim blaming because the most of the victims of online harassment after the incidents have reported that they have the fear of being judged after the incidents. So last but not least, about the solutions, I suggest that it must come from both subjective and objective side. First, about the government, they should launch policies to manage the internet security before allow them to be imported in Vietnam. And also for the educators, they should create a wholesome ideology. Comprehension is easier to apply in the young age, so that they should do it as soon as possible. And also, when you find a person is doing immoral things, just pick up your phone and call the police as soon as possible. And ultimately, from some of my tips for you is that you should download the antivirus onto your devices. And also, when you accidentally click onto the strange links and inform all your information, just immediately adjust all the passwords and block the links by all means. Well, all in all, online harassment is a hot potato, and it needs efforts of individual and generally. So hopefully my presentation here can show you the hidden corner of online platforms, and you can obtain valuable things after hearing this. Thank you.
Wow, that was that was quite hilarious. Thank you. I have a few questions for you, two per se. First, I would like to ask you, at what age do you think young teenagers should be allowed access to our internet? Because from what you said, they faced a lot of problems, like your presentation was centered on sexism, right? So at what age do you think our young teenagers should be given free access to internet and to be able to prevent all these harassment online?
Well, I think the educators should create a extracurricular to add to the formal education of teenager from age 16 to 18, because at this time it is easier to apply comprehension, and there are they are building their mind. If we orient them in the right way from the young age, then they will do the right things on the online world and even in the real world.
Okay, second part of it. Thank you for your response. The second part of my question is, how was your advice to young teenagers who are addicted to internet so they can be able to face their studies, avoid sexism, online harassment, even to the point of human trafficking? Because we can, at this age, you said something about from 18, at this young age, you cannot be able to distinguish who is real on the internet. We have a lot of fake people with fake identity. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So what's your advice to young people to be able to safeguard their future and, most importantly, face their education?
I would say that while the internet is a convenient tool, but don't overuse it and be selective in what platform are you using. Just choose the right platform which has the security, which has the high security to use, because when you're using the right platform, then your information is secured and you're not gonna like stuck in the situation of like being harassed or something. Thank you.